This episode is brought to you by Herbaland Gummies. Herbaland is Canada's largest gummy manufacturer based out of BC. They've mastered gummy vitamins and supplements. They're not only delicious, but also potent and inclusive. Herbaland wants to make gummies that are good for everyone and good for the planet. They make vegan, sugar-free, allergen-free, and gluten-free gummies, not to mention both their manufacturing and compostable packaging are eco-friendly. That's why I've been loving taking their gummies every day because I know I'm making the best choice for my body and the environment.
I love the way they have a gummy for everyone and every occasion. From beauty and fitness gummies to daily vitamins and even clean candy, Herbaland has something for everyone. If you have a love for all things wellness, beauty, or fitness and want to join their inclusive gummy crew community, check out their brand ambassador program at herbaland.com. While you're there, you can get 20% off your order with our discount code PoddyTalk20. Highly recommend going to check it out. We love Herbaland. Thank you guys for being the sponsor of this episode.
I'm so obsessed. Let's hop right in.
Guys, welcome back to Poddy Talk, the podcast where we shit talk ourselves.
I'm Jack.
And I'm Tor.
And today, I got a rant.
Off because we don't do fun facts anymore.
Yeah, no, I would like you to comment, petition to make the fun facts come back. I like the fun facts. I just love a fun fact. It makes me happy, and it makes us think really hard.
Maybe it just has to be now more themed, like fun fact of the week or fun fact. You know what I mean?
Okay.
It was crazy that it was fun fact about each other. After 60 episodes, it does feel like I've lost my touch in terms of what's fun about you.
Well, I also, that's very true. And I do feel like it started off that the fun facts were indeed fun. And then it slowly got a little bit malicious. We would expose each other's
like
warts.
Funny ones, but then it got like a bit mean for a while. And then it was just a bit boring for a while. So we've just gone through the wave of so many emotions with the fun fact that's why I had to pull back. And I just needed a bit of a break. I'm willing to make a compromise and find a new way to bring it back. But I'm just saying, as of right now, in current episode 60, you will not hear fun facts. And that's
deal. 61, we've got a themed fun fact. And on that note, roll the intro, baby. So with our new mic setup, it feels like I can't actually look and turn to you because our mics are very particular. You have to talk right in. So Tori,
I actually prefer that. Didn't you ever hear the saying that when you don't look at someone in the eye, you can actually be more honest?
Yeah, it's like that's why talking on the phone or writing down and reading a letter is better if you're nervous about a conversation.
Wait, really?
Yeah, like if you feel like you're not going to be able to like muster up the words to look someone in the eyes and say what you need to say, that's why they recommend you write down.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. I always knew that in terms of sort of having those conversations in person, in terms of like difficulty, that people look away.
Yeah.
But I didn't realize that's why they wrote
It actually
letters.
takes a lot more strength and power to like hold eye contact and be vulnerable. So now we'll share even more because we are never looking each other in the eye ever.
I love it. I love it. Well, you have crazy green Shrek eyes today.
Yeah,
so
you know what?
Maybe it's for the best that I'm not looking directly at them. Wait,
are you calling them ugly?
No, but what was that? What was the name of Shrek's wife? Because that's
Fiona.
the vibe I'm getting from you today.
Fiona.
Yes, I'm totally getting Fiona vibes from you.
You remind me of the gingerbread man. And our shirts actually have Lord Farquaad?
Lord Farquaad vibes. You're
yes.
right. So we're actually just really on the Shrek vibe today.
Donkey.
And the Donkey vibe. We love Donkey. It's Eddie Murphy, right? I just love him. He is so funny.
Remember like Puss in Boots? That's a great movie, actually. I should rewatch.
We should have like a movie marathon on Shrek.
Maybe we'll become live streamers and we can just live stream our reaction to Shrek.
I do love that.
But no, I did want to come on here. Speaking of my eye makeup, the reason it's so crazy is I had a very, very fun YouTube video I had to film today. It was the busiest like work day ever, and I was like going. I almost didn't make it here on time.
Yeah, what did you do today?
I had, a YouTube video that had to get shot, and then when there's like all the like little stories to go with it, and then in the meantime I also had to set up this Google campaign, and then I was dealing with this other fire on emails, and it was just like boom, boom, boom. So I felt like it was a crazy work day, and that leads me into a conversation that I wanted to have about a rant, about the craziest thing that happened last week.
Yes.
Now, I know I've told you this off camera, but I'm going to have to obviously dive back into the details for all the listeners at home. I have never in my life had this happen, and it's so... I mean, I can objectively pull myself out and be like, wow, that is hilarious. Like, I cannot believe that happened. But it was a huge problem, basically.
Yeah.
About... Yeah, a week ago, I wake up and my father texts me and goes, hey, Jaclyn, why is one of the Kardashians on your Instagram video.
Also, just the fact that the Kardashians are even involved in this makes it
I know.
hilarious.
Well, that actually is what makes it scarier. I'm like, is Kris Jenner going to sue me for this? Like, even though this wasn't my fault? Like, I don't know. And I was like, Dad, what do you mean? I'm like, is he just old and doesn't understand how Instagram works? Like, does he think he's on my page, but he somehow is on like Kim Kardashian? I don't know.
That's funny.
And so no, he sends me a screenshot, a screen recording actually, because he was that high tech. And it was in fact a video of a Kardashian, who will not be named, a full ad campaign with her in it and many other influencers that was getting run through my account by a brand. And this was not approved. This was not compensated for. This was completely illegal activity. And I was completely blown away because let me put a little bit more context behind this. When you are doing campaigns with certain brands, certain agencies or the larger companies have to basically through Facebook Business Manager, they like approve them as an advertiser. So that way they can, when you see a sponsored post on Instagram, sometimes the brand does it themselves and it just gets pushed through your account.
It allows them to like boost the post to reach a wider audience, but typically creators work really hard on the back end, especially in the negotiation stages of contracts, to make sure that if that is happening, that you're being compensated for, because ultimately they're using your name and likeness to promote their brand. So it's kind of a big deal.
Yeah, so basically this company at an earlier time had approval I had made a video for them, and for that certain time had the rights to make an ad out of it.
At one point they had the rights.
At one point in time. Yeah. And you know what? It was so weird because I feel like I almost had like a foreshadowing, like That's So Raven moment the week prior.
Sense.
Yeah, because it was so weird because all they was on Facebook Business Manager, which I want to just say I hate going on there because I find Facebook so confusing.
Yeah,
and like
it absolutely
even just
is.
navigating it is so not user friendly. So, but whatever. I was on there for I think another brand deal. I had to like somehow approve another brand. So I was in there and it gives you a big like master list of all the brands that have ever had access to either see your analytics or help boost a post or any of that stuff. And I kind of had a thought like, wow, that's so crazy out of all these different companies that I work with. And now, mind you, most of these are companies that are super reputable and would never, like nothing should ever go wrong. Right. But I did have a thought that, wow, all these people have access to some of my information in my account, which there is a little bit, I guess, of an inherent risk. Like who knows who is on the other side of that, right?
That's true, yeah.
But again, most likely, like nothing would ever happen. But I actually did have a thought like, wow, thankfully, like out of all these weird accounts and all these random things that have access to post as myself, thank God nothing's gone wrong.
Right.
Well, this was the day when everything went wrong. So long story long, it turns out that this brand was basically trying to be super sketch and push. I mean, what I'm assuming happened is that they had this Kardashian figure do a commercial for them at an earlier date, and they probably didn't have the rights to push it back out.
Yeah.
So they thought, hey, we have access on this one random creator's account. Let's push it through hers. And they completely basically just tried to scam me. Thank God someone saw it because I wouldn't have even seen it. Like
it's crazy too. The weird part was that you weren't even in the video that they promoted. Like your name, it said Jaclyn Forbes and then sponsored video, but the video was not you. It was like the Kardashian figure and
then like a collage of other which
so crazy.
There was so many it was one, not only beyond the scope of what we had ever agreed to in this partnership at an earlier date. Secondly, like, can you imagine you work so hard for your reputation? And I mean, the Kardashians themselves, as much as I am a fan of them, they have done polarizing things and they are controversial people.
Yeah.
And not necessarily everyone would want to be associated with them.
Absolutely.
So like that alone could be a problem. But also there was a whole montage of a bunch of other influencers in this video. And who's to say it wasn't we all know there are some influencers who you would not want to be associated with or who do not promote positive messages.
Yeah. And then your name is just boosting up their.
So it was so, honestly, it was so upsetting and like so frustrating the fact that a big brand did that. And basically, of course, obviously I called them out and I completely revoked the access and tried to delete everything as quickly as I could. There was also a spelling error in the caption too, which that also just bothered me. It's like, only are you doing an ad that has not been approved, you're using my account illegally, you're promoting people that you probably don't have the rights to use, and there's a spelling error in the caption. Like, how many boxes can you tick?
It was such a bad combo.
Yeah, so obviously I let that be known, and I demanded what I thought were reasonable actions of reparation, but it was just like a super frustrating experience. And it's hard because in those situations, it does remind you that, oh, these are big companies. And even if you wanted to, like technically they had broken any contract that was ever in place.
Yeah.
And all of that was like null and void. But it's like, what? Am I a small creator ever going to go up against a huge company? Like, no, there's no point going into a proper like lawsuit or a small claims court or any of that. Like, that's not worth it. But it's hard to digest sometimes.
It's like the level of disrespect, and I feel like that often, and maybe creators don't talk about it enough, but especially working with the clients at the caliber that we're lucky enough to work at, you go through these stages of negotiation and you go through these moments to make sure that contract is in a place that you feel comfortable with as a creator, not only from your name and likeness perspective, but in terms of compensation and all these other things. And then to just feel like it only is going to be enforced if it's for their benefit. Like, I do feel like that sometimes.
Totally. It's to protect them, not to protect you most of the time.
Yeah, and I think that, you know, we can always work as creators to get better at making the contracts reflect what we need. But I still think at the end of the day, to your point, are we really going to be in a position of power to then enforce those changes if we need them to be made?
Well, and let's be real, like majority of the time, you're so right. These rules, these things in the contract that are set out only apply to you. Perfect example of, hey, we have these deadlines. And me and you are both very similar. We're both very type A. We would never not follow the rules or not do something properly on the right timeline. And it's always expected, like, of course, there's no questions there.
Yeah.
But then on the flip side, when the contract, I've added additions to make sure that my payment is reflected in 30 or 60 days, all of these terms that help me actually get paid or protect me, when those are put in place, then those are never followed. Like, I cannot explain the last, like, I think 4 months in particular. And I do have a little bit of, like, I guess empathy because I know we're in such strange times, but you would think because we are in such hard and strange times that these big companies who have billions and millions of dollars would have empathy to you as a small creator going, hey, we know you have to pay your rent and pay your bills. And oftentimes there's been a few cases where they're like, oh, sorry, yeah, it's just not, it's like, okay, now this is 200 days overdue. What can I do now? I'm, again, not going to go take this to court. Like,
and that's the problem.
Like what's my option? I'm stuck.
We end up being in the position with no power because at the end of the day, they can hire anyone. They could hire you over me. They could hire 10 other girls
Well, then
over
they go,
us.
oh, Jaclyn's being a bitch. She's bitching about payment. And it's like, well, no, you're 150 days overdue. I'm just following up to say, like, not even to be like, hey, fuck you, where's my payment? But like, hey, do you have an update? Like, why is this taking so long? Like, when can I expect it?
We've also discussed at length the idea that even if you do start to put up a fight or start to, not even fight, let me rephrase that. If you start to protect yourself as a creator and create those boundaries and say, I'm not doing this work until I'm paid at least 50% upfront or even paid upfront in full, whatever you want those terms to be, I don't think that should be taken as, oh, that creator's hard to work with.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, I believe that from the brand perspective, or even I would even say from the agency perspective, that it is kind of the feedback. Like, they'll be like, oh, well, that's outrageous. And then I say, well, no, you wouldn't ask a plumber to get paid 60 days after he's unclogged your toilet. So when I promote your brand on Instagram, I should be paid at the same moment that that's happening.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, in some ways I can understand. I'm fine with the 30 or 60 day payment term.
30 is fine.
But like, then stick to it. Like, and I get what you're saying. Like, I agree. There's so many other jobs that, of course, you would expect the payment within a more timely...
It's a service, right? So the service, let's say, even if you're just at a restaurant and you order a cocktail, you're covering that as you're departing.
Yeah. I guess
I'm not saying it has to be the same day.
Yeah.
I'm just saying as freelancers to... especially in this industry, to take advantage of creators that are either just starting out or smaller, or like we were saying, going check to check and living, as they're doing campaigns, that's how they're paying for rent. That's how they're paying for their life. It's unheard of to me. Like, it's crazy to me that they get away with what they do.
Well, that's sometimes what I feel like some people don't have empathy for. And I get, it's also, I feel like sometimes even complaining about the YouTube space or social media world, like, it's almost like, oh my God, these people have it made. Like, what are they complaining about? They post a picture.
But that's unfair. It is absolutely a job.
Well, and in some ways, I understand. There are harder jobs out there. I'm not going to say that.
Oh, of course. But there's a standard, right? So it's about the standard.
Well, it's also like that just because we are blessed doesn't mean that we can't have frustrations with being treated unfairly. Right?
Absolutely, yeah. But I guess that's sort of my point. Like, if people in the industry like us who have been doing this for 5 years, 10 years, and have created names for ourselves and continuously work with really wonderful and high-end brands, I believe to a certain extent, it's up to us to like create those precedences and to make sure that those creators that are starting out have protection in some way. Like the amount of creators that start out and they're like, oh, I literally have no money, or like, oh, I have all these outstanding invoices. Like it's just crazy.
Well, it also makes me think like, and oftentimes it's hard because the person, especially when you get with these, when you're working with brands that are so large and have so many different departments and they're just at that scale, half the time the people that you're following up with or having direct communication with isn't even the person that's a part of the problem. They forward that to finance or it goes to a different department.
Or that's going to help you. Yeah, they have no answers.
So one, like you're yelling at the wrong person, but it's also the thing that is frustrating is when people seem to not like care. And I mean, I get it. These people are like, well, what does it matter to me? They don't care.
But that's sort of my point. It's like if they weren't paid in 2 weeks, you can bet your bottom dollar they'd be sending an email to make sure their check was in the mail.
That's what I'm saying. If they weren't getting paid to be at work that day or they didn't get their last month's payment, they would for sure have a problem. So it's like, it's honestly just more the attitude.
Well, it's seeing yourself in the other person's shoes.
Totally.
Oh, you just did this great campaign for us. The work is done. The service is over. Now here is the fulfillment.
Well, and I'm not even someone who is like, I don't think I'm that unreasonable. Like I can understand if someone goes, hey, we're so sorry. We've had a backed up system. You can expect it in another 30 days. We're so sorry for this delay. Like won't happen again. Like I'm very reasonable and understanding.
Yeah.
But it's when I get replies and people are like snippy about it as if like they make me feel like I'm wrong for asking about an overdue payment. That's your problem. You did not follow the contract.
Yeah.
You have agreed. You have signed off that you would pay me within 30 days. I don't care if it's $100. I don't care if it's $1 million, which it's never $1 million. But you know what I'm saying? Like it's not even about the amount of money. It's the principle that
absolutely.
If I respect you enough to follow all my deadlines and get everything to you on time, why can't you respect me? And it's a respect thing. And it's hard because if it's a company whose product I love or a brand that I love, it does hurt a relationship. And there's been many times when I passed on certain partnerships because I just don't feel like
confident that I'll be paid.
The rapport has been like broken and it's annoying, but
no, it's true. And I think maybe what a lot of people on the back end or people listening that may not understand this world as much, like I would say, well, maybe 60% of the time, 40% of the time would be brand direct, but most of the time it's agencies. And that complicates things like 10 times further because that means there's an intermediary company between you, the creator, then the intermediary, which is this agency, and then the brand. So you can imagine the amount of, and I've discussed this at length with many people in the industry, just the amount of broken telephone that can happen, whether that's for payment or whether that's for concepts for approval. Like I'm working with a few brands right now that are very like high end, like I don't know, not high end in terms of like Chanel, like not luxury. No, not luxury. Just household names. That's a way better way to put it.
Okay.
Household name brands, like very, prominent brands in the Canadian market. And the amount of back and forth, like I can tell you when people are like, oh my God, your job is so easy. You're just posting an Instagram photo. I wish I could 87 emails back and forth right now discussing concept, copy, like images, like, oh, bring this like brightness down by 2 dashes. Like the amount of just little small things that get brought to life in these brand campaigns, like you have no idea the back end. And I guess that's to your point. This is not us like ranting or complaining about the industry.
I know it's so weird when I say these things. So I'm like, oh, am I just being annoying?
No, because I think it's acknowledging that this is our job. This is what we do every single day. Every single person in any job is going to run into some level of, like roller coaster. You're going to have the ups, you're going to have the downs. I actually think for most people, it must sound interesting because they don't necessarily know the ins and outs of this industry or the content creator world. So if anything, I think it's nice to shed light on the fact that people behind the scenes are actually working really hard to make sure that this content resonates.
That's the thing. It's like, obviously I live in my shoes. I know my day-to-day. I know your day-to-day. Well, I don't even know your necessarily day-to-day, but I can understand because we work in very similar fields and do the same things. But it's like, I know I work hard. I know you work hard. I know what my day looks like. I know how much time I put into all this stuff. Like, I don't doubt that I am working hard at what I do. Again, is it the hardest work in the world? No, but I'm putting a lot of hard work into it. But yeah, it's like, I don't even know how to explain it. I think when your heart is in something so much too, and when you know how much time all this stuff takes, like it's even actually a simple request. This past week I was working with a brand, which like super great experience. And I've been working with this brand for a while. We ended up doing this really fun video.
Yeah. And
then it's just the day of, an hour before we were all set to go live with everything. We had like a video going live as well as like Instagram posts, this whole, like there was a multi like social posts going on with it. literally an hour before, they're like, hey, actually, so sorry, we actually have one final request from X person at the 2-minute mark. Can you actually insert this and cut out this question and do this? And I was like, well, and they're like, oh, and then still like, can we go live at like, say 1 p.m.? And it's like, guys, by the time I don't know where I am right now. I don't even think I was home at that time. 2, by the time I edit it, export it, redo all the metadata, re-upload everything, like, that's a whole, like,
it's a whole job in itself.
And it's like, I know it can sound quick in theory. Oh, just cut this part out of a video or add this part in. But it's like, then I have to reshoot this and I have to do a different voiceover. And it's like all these different layers. And it's, and it's
to be fair, I think,
what do you say though?
I think from the creator perspective, because we have to wear so many hats. Like, not only are we the producers of the content, but then we're like the creative director and we're also like typically editing the content or whatever the fact may be. I think from a agency perspective or even a brand perspective, most of the time they think it's as easy as like a Band-Aid solution, like, oh, just cut that out. And it's like, that is absolutely not how this works. Or just do a reshoot. And it's like, hey, well, this was shot in natural sunlight. We have to do the Okay, let's talk about reshoots for 1 minute. So this is the thing about a reshoot.
I do not allow reshoots. If I followed all the guidelines, you just changed your mind, you have to pay me again. Exactly.
Well, and this is the thing about reshoots, because you and I obviously believe the very same thing about a reshoot, which is if it is our mistake and if I didn't follow a guideline or if I totally messed up and used the wrong wording,
of course,
then I acknowledge that I messed up and I will completely fix it. Like, I have no problem with that. But what will often happen, and what we always say, is that people don't know what they want until they see it. So they finally see the video with the concepts that they've approved
that they created
usually, and then they say, it's just not it. Go back to the drawing board.
It's the worst if you're like hopping on normally you'll do like briefing calls beforehand just to make sure that everyone's on the same page.
So crazy.
We can all collaborate, talk things out. And that's like the human part of it. It's fun to like get to talk to these brands and have virtual meetings and all this stuff.
Yeah.
And you're hashing out all these ideas and let's just make up a scenario. Granny Smith apple wants you to take a big bite of the apple and go, this is so delicious, and start your video off that way. And maybe that's their pitch to me. And I go, guys, that's kind of not how I would start a video. I think it's going to come across very fake and like an ad. I don't think it'll resonate. People might click off. Like, can I suggest this suggestion, which maybe pushes the same message, but it makes more sense to my video style.
Yeah.
And then they're like, nah, we really think our idea is the best. We really want you to do it our way. And there's a certain point where you try to, and I have to say, these are more outliers. There are many brands that I'm happy to collaborate with, and those are probably all the brands that you see all over our pages. I work with people that I know do truly collaborate and understand
like give
and
the
respect.
Creative freedom. Like, there's some brands that
it's a give and take for sure.
They will just say, go with the wind. Like, we trust you, and I think that's when you're in the right partnership.
And that's when you get the best content out of it too. Let's be real. It's not this like fake super stage thing.
Yeah.
But anyway, so you end up going, okay, you stop putting up your fight. You're like, I'll just do what you said. Let's try it out. I don't think it's going to work, but if that's what you really want, let's do that. Then you do it. Then say the video doesn't perform well, or you get a bunch of negative comments saying, this seems so fake, this is so sponsored or whatever. And then the brand comes back and goes, this didn't really go so well. And I don't think we want to do any more videos anymore. Like, it didn't really deliver. And you're like, this is what I told you. They're like, of course it's not going to.
You're like, I actually tried to give you my expertise.
Totally.
Well, and that's what I think brands forget too, is like, we are experts on our audience. Like, we know like, oh, okay, like it could be as simple as a tie-dye outfit I know will perform well. And then they're like, no, we want all black. And you're like, no, but I'm telling you, tie-dye. Yeah. They're like, no. And you're like, okay. And then you do, like, you wear a boring outfit and they're like, it doesn't perform. Like,
it's hard because you also have to think too, like, I always go back to egos and like really what this comes down to. It's like, you have this company, which most of the time if we're working with, say, these household names, these big brands, they have 50 plus years of experience of making ads and making commercials. What's so different now, especially with the influencer world and the social media world, is that you have to kind of give some of that control and power away. It truly is a collaboration. It's like half of what you want, half of what this person can bring to the table, and you marry that together. And it's not a perfect commercial where you have everything planned out from the brand side. And we're not just actors.
Sometimes clients want way too much involvement. And then I think at that point you start to lose the fun of what our job actually is, which is integrating something we love and then trying to share that in an authentic way with our audience.
Well, it's also like, I always hope to people that truly want to like reach out or want to work together. It's like, I hope that they genuinely have seen my content, they understand my vibe, and they go, oh, that's a good fit for us. What our product is. Or what exactly.
Not just like, oh, she gets the most likes, or she.
Totally.
Because you see brands like that too that make the choice just for reach or just for engagement. And that's a separate thing, and I totally understand that. But I've seen some like very targeted niche ads from smaller creators that I think are amazing and like very much meant to like like,
and you know what? It just like makes sense.
Ads.
You're like, that's good.
Yeah.
Like I do
like today, I saw Khloe Kardashian's ad for Febreze, and I was like, oh my God, this makes so much sense. Yes.
I saw you post on your stories with like the bedazzled.
Yeah, and I literally said, this is the branded content I've been looking for, because I died, because if you know Khloe Kardashian at all, in like keeping up, like she literally is always making her bed, and like I do it now, like I spray Febreze on my bed sheets like as I make it, because she always just talked about like how it's like making your bed feel like nice and fresh when you climb in at night, like, and it was never an ad when she spoke about it. It was just sort of like you saw her do it in the show, and it was just like one of her habits. So I was like, yo, this is just like so good.
That's the best, when you see like a brand that someone organically talks about all the time, and then you see an actual partnership come to life. And that's happened a few times, I know, even on like my channel. When actually, I will give a specific great shout out to contrast all this negativity we've been talking about.
Yeah.
So I make what I eat in a days on my YouTube channel all the time, and I make like little vegan recipes and do little cooking and try to make it like more approachable and all that stuff. And I talk about my love for peanut butter all the time. And everyone on my channel,
I forgot about that.
And everyone on my channel knows like every single what I eat in a day. People will like make jokes and be like, oh, there was no peanut butter. Does Jaclyn need help? Like blink twice if you need help. Like funny things like that. Like people know that I just love peanut butter. That's like my favorite flavor. And then eventually it was so incredible. The Peanut Bureau of Canada, which basically just is in charge of all the peanuts in all the food in Canada.
So random, but like amazing.
And they had reached out and they're like, hey, we see that you love peanuts. Would you like to talk more about peanuts in your video? Can we sponsor a video? And I was like, just Peanuts of America and Canada. Like they're just sponsoring me.
I love it so much.
It was such a great partnership, and I'm still working with them right now, but we've done a few videos so far, and all the comments on those videos are so hilarious and incredible, because everyone is genuinely so happy, and they're rooting for you.
Sense.
They're like dying. They're like, this is hilarious. The fact that Jaclyn got a peanut sponsor, like, and it makes it 10 times better. So I love when it's an organic fit already, and the brand just like makes it just better.
And I think that's part of it.
It should be that way, right?
Yeah, I think that's part of it as well. Is like celebrating the creators when they do have an awesome partnership. Like, totally. And I know like we love that too. Like, like this Khloe Kardashian moment that I was like, yeah, baby. But yeah, just taking advantage of when creators actually work on sick stuff. Like, why not?
Okay, let's manifest it. What are 5 brands or a few brands that you're like, one day I will be doing the Febreze ad? Like something that you use all the time that you're like, that would just be so iconic.
Okay, brands that I've always really wanted to work with American Express, because I don't know if you know this about me, but you do know this about you. But I am actually like an advocate for them. And I know I'm not their target demographic, but I can tell you right now, I have the like platine card. Like I love the airport lounges, like travel a lot, like something about that in my lifestyle. And it's funny because
they do a ton of campaigns too.
They do a ton of campaigns, but I think it's just a little older, and like, because I don't think it's necessarily my target demo that's going to be buying the platine card.
Is it called?
No, it's like platinum, but I'm just saying that funnily. But anyways, so yeah, I would like love to work with American Express. I also always not joked, but it was always kind of in my head that I would love to partner like long term with an airline. Like just like create content. Like if it was like an Air Canada, and then I have like X amount of flights in a year, and like when I go travel places, that would be use Air Canada, and then I like shoot for them.
Yeah, or like a hotel chain in that same like vein.
Absolutely.
Like having and going around the world, all those hotels.
Yeah, like you're so like, fun. I go to like every Shangri-La, like in different places. Yeah,
okay.
That'd be cool.
Manifesting that.
What about you?
I always think of makeup brands. I would love to do something like cool and like larger scale with someone like a Fenty.
Yeah.
Or what are other cool makeup brands? I mean,
is Fenty like top of your list right now?
Fenty would be, yeah. I would like.
I'm shocked by that.
Really?
Yeah, I didn't think that would be what you would say.
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
I mean, I also love Fenty, but I don't think I have like that many products. Like maybe just I haven't. So I don't know. Maybe I think they do
color products really well, and I just feel like they're modern and fresh and everything that makeup should be in 2020, and they're inclusive. I agree. I just like love their vibe. So I would love to do like something like big for them, like a proper campaign, like shot like with a actual photographer, like something cool.
Yeah, that would be cool.
And then what else? I mean, you know what? I organically have loved my Vitamix for so long. If Vitamix ever wanted to do like a video series, like a smoothie, something like that would make so much sense for me. I would love a Vitamix, like proper partnership.
That's so true. I don't know how you haven't brought that to life yet.
Yeah, I don't know. Also, if you're watching this on YouTube, we have just lost video. We're going to keep rolling because we got this sexy mic still.
Our camera died, so continue.
But yeah, no, those would be some dream sponsors. We'll definitely manifest that one day because I believe in us and I believe in you.
There's also certain back to brand partnerships that just make sense. Madison just posted she's their new ambassador for Savage.
I commented on it. I was like, gagged.
It's shocking. And
so
I
good.
was just blown away, gassed at how fabulous she looked. And I was like,
the photos were like, so well done too.
And it makes so much sense. It's like, yes, like Rihanna's line, like it's just, all of it was fantastic. So I love that. Like,
I thought that was a perfect fit
works
too.
And it's fantastic.
No, that was incredible. I was so deceased over it.
Yeah.
It was just so well done.
Yeah, no,
Execution.
Hats off to all these creators killing it out here.
Should we do some roses and thorns? I feel like we've been ranting.
Yes.
I feel like I'm high energy. Up. Okay. You want to go first?
Yes, sure. Okay, rose would be, the week is almost over. I feel like it's been like, no, it's been like honestly, one of those weeks, like just like chasing after like a dream because I like sleep, you know, like I feel like it's just been busy and crazy and all these things. So yeah, happy it's like almost Friday and I guess long weekend, but I'm working Monday, so maybe not. So a second rose is that I am... what am I excited about? Oh, Adam has some like exciting news coming out soon, and I feel like it'll like be a real catalyst in his career. So I'm like super pumped about that.
Ooh, fun.
Can't really share yet, but I will once it's like out and available. And then the thorn is that I can't get my temperature right in my house. Like sometimes I'm just like freezing and I have to sit with a blanket, and then sometimes I'm like hot, and then at night I feel a bit like sweaty. So I'm figuring that out, but it's a bit of a thorn.
You're working on it. Okay, wow. I kind of agree. Honestly, a rose, I guess a thorn, is that this week has just been a little chaotic and all over the place.
Did I just share 2 thorns?
No, you actually, I feel like you did all roses.
It doesn't even matter, whatever.
Who cares? Yeah, definitely a little chaotic of a week, but a rose is that I've been going to F45 at the 7:40 a.m. classes, and it's been a great way to start my day, and I'm feeling like good again. Not even like I'm feeling fit, I just feel good, like mentally, like physically, like I just felt like I was in a bit of a slump, and like just,
something about sweating is just fantastic.
I forgot how like therapeutic and healing it was. So that's been really good. And then another rose is it's a long weekend, and I didn't really realize this until a few days ago. So it's just nice to know that on Monday, no one will be emailing me. And
That's
they can,
true.
as you say, lose my number.
Yes, please lose my number.
But yeah, I'm just feeling good. I actually, despite all of this ranting, and as much as it is fun to complain and get it off your chest, I've been really working on just like letting things go, not taking things personally. And as Dory says, just keep swimming.
As Dory says, just keep swimming. And hey, there's like cool things about the job too. I got to play with the new Rare Beauty stuff today at Selena Gomez's new makeup line. So like, hey, take the roses.
Yeah, no, we can't complain. I love my job and I love what I do.
I love my job. I love my life.
Pay me on time, please. Anyways, thanks so much for watching. We hope you enjoyed Poddy Talk, the podcast where we should talk ourselves. I'm Jack.
And I'm Tor.
And have a great day.
Bye.
Bye.